Today I'm making game day wings 3 ways. I'm making hot wings, I'm making tangy, crispy lemon pepper wings, and I'm also going to be making crispy salt and pepper wings. These are going to be good. Today I'm making oven-baked wings, and to start I'm going to make a seasoned dredge. I'm adding a half cup of cornstarch to a bowl. You could also add all-purpose flour. To that I'll be adding 1.5 teaspoons to 2 teaspoons of salt. If using a fine salt, start with a teaspoon. I'm adding 1 tablespoon of salt-free lemon pepper. I'm also adding 1 teaspoon of paprika, a half teaspoon of black pepper, a half teaspoon of celery salt, 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1.5 teaspoons of onion powder, and I'm going to give that a good mix, and that's done. This is probably around 3.5 pounds, 3 to 3.5 pounds of wings, and I'm just going to coat them in the seasoned dredge. And once they're coated, I'm going to place them on a very large baking sheet. If you do this recipe, you might need 2 baking sheets. This is a really large one. And I'm going to let them set for about 10 to 15 minutes, and after they've set, I'm going to bake them in a preheated oven of 415 degrees Fahrenheit for about 50 to 55 minutes. For my buffalo wing sauce, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of butter into a pan over a low heat. I'm going to add 1 clove of fresh garlic that I'm just going to crush into the melting butter and let that melt down and gently simmer. And then I'm going to add a tablespoon of honey. I'll say this is optional, but I think the honey adds more body to the sauce and it balances out the heat and tanginess of the sauce. Now I'm going to add a half cup of hot sauce. You could use the hot sauce of your choice and just give that a good mix. And I'm going to let that gently simmer for about 3 to 5 minutes and it's done. So at this point, my wings are crispy and cooked through. So now it's time to dress them. And listen to that, they have a very crispy exterior. So now I'm going to coat and dress my wings. I want to show you, these are really hot. You could probably pull out the bones from this, but just a little press and you can see how tender and fall off the bone these wings turn out. These are so good. And now for the lemon pepper wings. Okay, so to start, I am going to marinate my chicken wings. Here I have 2 pounds of chicken wing sections. This is already cut and sectioned into the flat and drumette. Now what I'm going to do is take the juice of 1 large lemon. This is around 1/4 cup of fresh juice. I'm going to add that right into my bowl. I'm also going to add the zest. And to season this, I'm going to start with some seasoned salt. You could use just salt. And I'm probably going to add around 1/2 teaspoon of my seasoned salt to this. And the ratios of your seasonings and what you want to season it with, it's up to you really. Now I'm going to go in with 1/2 teaspoon or so of granulated garlic powder, the same amount of onion powder, around 1/2 teaspoon, and the star of the show, I'm using salt-free lemon pepper, another 1/2 teaspoon. Now just with your hands, give it a mix. Okay, so that's combined well. Now I'm just going to cover this and allow it to marinate for at least 30 minutes. So here in a small saucepan or a pan, I have it on a low, medium low to low heat. I'm going to add, I'm kind of eyeballing, but 5 tablespoons of butter works. Now I'm going to add a teaspoon of my salt-free lemon pepper, and because it's salt-free and unsalted butter, I will be adding salt, and that's it. And the salt is to taste. I'm going to shut the heat off. Okay. And I do have my lemons. I'm just going to squeeze whatever's left, fresh squeezed lemon juice into this. So for my dredge, I'm using 1 cup of all-purpose flour and 1/2 cup of cornstarch. You might get away with just using 1 cup of flour, or half a cup of flour, half a cup of cornstarch, but I wanted to make sure I had enough to dredge these. So 1.5 cups of whatever you're using into the bowl. So I am going to season my dredge with some cracked black pepper. And I'm going to go in with some more lemon pepper. These are lemon pepper wings, so I want to season it with lemon pepper. And you'll want to season it with salt. But in place of salt, I'm actually going to season it with my Trader Joe's vegan chickenless seasoning salt. I like the combination of flavors in this. It has sea salt, onion powder, other spices, turmeric, and garlic powder. So I'm going to add that in. So now I'm just going to give that a mix. Okay, so I'm just going to take my wing and coat it with the dredge. And then I'm just going to place it right onto my baking sheet to hang out until I'm done with the rest of them. Okay, so my wings are completely coated. I'm just going to let them hang out here until my fry oil comes up to fry temperature. You'll want to bring up your fry oil to about 350 degrees Fahrenheit for a good fry temp. So I'm going to start adding, I'm going to fry these in batches. I'm going to add maybe 3 to 4 in each batch. I'm going to cook these until they are done. The cook time always varies. Okay, these are a light golden brown, cooked through. This took somewhere between 8 to 10 minutes. But depending on how large the pieces are, the cook time will vary. You could also bake these in the oven. You could put them in your air fryer. You could use your little Fry Daddy deep fryer. It all works. Nice and golden brown now. I'm going to add them to this bowl and just toss them around so they can get coated with my lemon butter. Okay, I got most of them in there. So now I'm not gonna use all of it. I have the other half on the pan here. Shake in some extra lemon pepper. This is it. These are my lemon pepper wings. Here I have around 2 pounds of wings. These are the flats. Use the drummettes or flats, whichever you like. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of Shaoxing cooking wine. And if you're using fine salt, you can use a half teaspoon of salt. I'm using a little more because this is a coarse ground salt. Now I'm going to add freshly cracked pepper, around 1/4 teaspoon, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, and I'm going to use my clean hands and give it a good mix. I'm going to marinate my chicken wings for at least 30 minutes. I'll probably have them in the fridge for about 45 minutes and then remove them from the refrigerator to take the chill off of the chicken and set them on the counter for about 15 to 20. So my wings are marinated, so now it's time to coat and dredge them. Here I have a 1/2 cup of cornstarch, and I'm just going to lightly coat and dredge each wing. And after coating, I'm going to place it on a baking sheet to set. I'm going to repeat the process for all the wings, and once all of my wings are coated, I'm going to let them set for about 10 to 15 minutes before frying. My fry oil is up to temperature. You want it at least at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I took mine to around 360-65. I'm going to fry my wings in batches as to not crowd the pan. And I'm going to fry them twice. For the first fry, I'm going to let them cook and fry for about 3 to 4 minutes. And once this batch is done, I'm just going to repeat the process for the second batch. Now that my wings have fried for the first fry, it's time for the double fry. Back into my fry oil, and I'm going to fry these for another 2-3 minutes or until the exterior is extra crispy and golden brown. After the double fry, I've placed them on a baking sheet with a rack. And as you can hear, these are extra crispy. It's almost like glass. So I'm just going to place all of my wings in a large bowl, and I'm going to season them with a combination of salt and pepper. Now today I'm being a little extra. Here I've added 20 pink peppercorns and 20 black peppercorns with 1 teaspoon of coarse salt, and I just combined it and grinded it all up. You can just use salt and pepper, and it is to taste. I'm not going to use this entire seasoning that I've created here. I'm just going to sprinkle to preference. And that's it. These are simple to make and they're so good. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.